Nestle has been in Sri Lanka for over 100 years. We have been committed to enhancing the lives of the local community since the very beginning. We purchase hundreds of thousands of litres of milk from 18,000 farmers every day. Committed to increasing fresh milk production in Sri Lanka, we help local dairy farmers produce milk that meets our high-quality standards. Nestle, empowering Sri Lankan dairy farmers.
A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our News First studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
A word of advice from Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa to state sector employees.
ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම මම ගොඩක් දේවල් කරන්නේ හැම දෙයක්ම කරන්නේ මගේම දෙයක් හැටියට.
Minister Vimal Weerawansa alludes to the fact that the government has acknowledged for the first time the existence of the controversial Geneva contract. A proposal from the JHU, if not accepted, a common candidate will be named. Nearly 5,000 people affected by the weather. Sabaragamu University students receive support from locals. Police on alert. Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe warns against disclosing tea trade secrets to China.
And now for the stories in detail. Secretary to the Ministry of Defence and Urban Development Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that he was able to achieve success in development activities not because he is the President's brother but because he considers this work to be his own. The Defence Secretary made this remark in an exclusive interview with Newsfirst Ravindra Nanayakara.
A large number of people work under your supervision. There are several institutions too. What do you say to them regarding your vision?
When
considering the development of urban areas, development that suits the area and creating a people-friendly town is our intention. If we work towards developing a city without this intention, the outcome will be one where a city with unsuitable living conditions is created for its residents. We will employ the best and most suitable mechanisms that are currently used in the world when carrying out development activities in the Colombo city. We will transform the Colombo city into a more people-friendly city. We have a target to achieve. That target is the year 2020. I believe we can complete the task by that time.
What do you think the people's vision should be?
There
is a huge responsibility vested with the people to protect all of this. We invest a lot of money. If we build a pavement, these must be protected. Even the smallest plants should be protected. The other important feature is cleanliness. I believe it is of utmost importance that people comprehend this responsibility.
A number of criticisms will be raised when a new initiative is taken up. You have good experience when it comes to this. How did you overcome this challenge? This could be categorized as a political question.
The objections that are raised have now gradually receded because the people have placed their trust in me. When I initiate a project, they know that I will make it a reality.
You are not a minister. Even though you are the brother of His Excellency the President, you are carrying out these tasks while being a secretary of a ministry. While carrying these development programs forward, what is your message to the state sector employees?
As state sector employees, we all have a big responsibility vested in us. Some might say that activities can only be carried out because I am the brother of the President. But that is wrong. If there is a will, there is a way. To be honest, I do most of the work thinking of it as my personal tasks. I believe that we could provide what is needed by the public if state sector employees think of their work as their own personal tasks.
Now for the full interview with Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, visit our website www.newsfirst.lk. Minister Vimal Weerawansa today alluded to the fact that the government has acknowledged for the first time the existence of the controversial contract for the renovation of the official residence of the permanent representative in Geneva, which was reportedly awarded to an LTTE affiliated company.
We made inquiries and I quizzed the foreign minister as well. He says that the contract was granted prior to the foreign secretary assuming office in Geneva. This is what the foreign minister told me when I made inquiries. When something like this happens, we inquire into whether this is the truth or not. So I ask, why the different standards? Why is that the same mouth that speaks of contracts in Sheniko Seniviratne's past is silent when the EU lifts a ban on the LTTE?
ඒ කාර්යාලයක තිබිච්ච කොන්ත්‍රාත්තුවක මොකක් හරි කතාවක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක කියන කටින්ම ඇයි යුරෝපා සංගමයේ කොටි තහනම් ඉවත් කරනකොට කට වැහෙන්නේ?
A few key questions are valid at this point. Who approved the contract and on what basis? Who occupied the official residence during the works? Who approved the bill? Who signed the payment? Who is responsible for awarding the contract?
I looked at all the documents when I took office. I realized that there were many irregularities. I was informed that this company was in fact a finance company. It is not a construction company. The company is not based in Geneva, it is based in Zurich. The owners of this company are in the LTTE. That is why I asked the ministry and the president to conduct a financial audit. One problem was to do with finance, the other was to do with security. That is why I asked for the audit. Before I took office, Sheniko Seniviratne was the ambassador.
Meanwhile, on our special segment Newsline today, former permanent representative to the UN in Geneva, Dr. Dayan Jayathilaka, expressed these views.
Dr. Jayathilaka, Foreign Minister G.L. Pires has reportedly told Minister Vimal Weerawansa that this contract for the renovation of the ambassador's official residence was given prior to Ms. Sheniko Seniviratne taking office. Can you just brief us on the timeline? Because if it was prior to Ms. Sheniko Seniviratne, then that was in your tenure.
Well, Nadeem, I didn't spend time trying to renovate the residence. I concentrated on helping defeat a UN war crimes inquiry when I was serving in Geneva. So we did that in 2009 in May 28th. And I was fired on the 16th of July 2009. A decision was taken when the president was in Cairo attending an online conference at which Minister Vimal Weerawansa was also present, that I should be fired, and I was sent a fax. I took the first available flight after I could pack and settle my affairs, and I was back here in Colombo in the
Who was heading the office in the period between your departure and Ms. Sheniko Seniviratne's?
I do remember that Sheniko took over sometime in November 2009. So, I don't know about this audit. I know about the audit report. I've never seen this. So it should be very easy. You just check the dates of the contract and check the dates when Madam Seniviratne took over as ambassador.
All of this came to light following this, the whole incident or non-incident involving Dr. Christonis and MP Sajin Ras Gunawardena.
Indeed.
What is your take on it?
Now, why now? It's because that was the story that he had beaten up on Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to Britain while in New York. So that's when the whole thing kind of blew up, and everybody started talking about what's happening in the management of Sri Lanka's external affairs.
And at the same time, the EU lifting its shackles off the LTTE. Now, Minister Vimal Weerawansa claims that there is some correlation between these incidents. What's your view on that?
Well, there is certainly a correlation between Sri Lanka's retreat in the international arena, the serial defeats that we have suffered, and the management of Sri Lanka's external relations. Now, in 2008, there's another timeline here. In 2008, our High Commissioner at the time, who is now our Foreign Secretary, Madam Sheniko Seniviratne, had stated at a staff meeting in London that I would be removed from my post in Geneva and that she would be my successor. Now, if that had happened in 2008, while the war was raging and while the West was trying to bring a resolution to stop the war, then who would have gained? Who would have gained if I had been removed in 2008 when she was on the record saying that I would be? I was removed in 2009 and she did take over, so somebody knew what was going to happen. Sri Lanka is in trouble internationally. We should have our finest people in the most responsible posts. We cannot have somebody who doesn't have a university degree and maybe not even his A-levels as the presidential advisor on international relations.
Dr. Dayan Jayathilaka took office as Sri Lanka's permanent representative to the UN in Geneva in June 2007. He held this office until the 16th of July 2009 and was succeeded by the current Foreign Secretary, Shanuka Seneviratne. She presented her credentials as the permanent representative in Geneva in the latter part of 2009. She served in this position for 2 years and was succeeded by Tamara Kunanayakam in August 2011.
I must note that both the conspirators and the stakeholders are within the government itself. The conspirators and the stakeholders in the conspiracy cannot just clamber out of the ditch they have fallen into. They must answer this. Now they are saying that this was not awarded during Shanuka Seneviratne's tenure, but this document clearly states the date. This clearly states that it was given to P.T. Thangaraja on the 19th of November 2009. By the 22nd of December 2012, the first payment had been made. It is pointless to tell a different story without plucking out stories off the top of their heads. They must immediately make inquiries from the Finance Ministry Secretary. At the very least, make these inquiries and fulfill your responsibility.
The website of the Sri Lankan mission in Geneva contains 2 photographs of when Shanuka Seneviratne presented credentials as the permanent representative. The date stamp on these photographs is the 17th of November 2009. According to Vasantha Samarasinha, the contract for the renovation of the official residence of the permanent representative was awarded to a finance company affiliated to the LTTE on the 19th of November 2009.
Now, shortly after this news item aired on the main news bulletin at 7 p.m. on our sister channel Sirasa TV, MP Ravi Kananayaka contacted us and expressed the following views.
As soon as I saw this news item, I immediately started to call you because I felt a great fear and happiness at the same time. I was fearful because the government has now accepted what we said then. They have affirmed that this exists. Minister Weerawansa has accepted for the first time that the government has had dealings with the tigers. What is evident now is that the people who stuck the tiger label on us have now been implicated in this conspiracy. It has come from the mouth of Vimal Weerawansa himself that there are economic assassins in the country. And now he himself has said that the Foreign Services assassin is in Switzerland. Vimal Weerawansa is saying that the government is with people in the LTTE diaspora. KP has a hold of the Tamil diaspora from within the country. Karunamma is in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Pillayan is in the Provincial Council. Now we know who exactly is living with the tigers. Dayan Jayathilaka, Rajiva Vijayasinghe, Tamara Kunanayakam and Chris Nonis, who resigned recently after being slapped, are being removed because of this. Those who fight against extremism cannot remain in the government because the government is with the extremists. Now they are talking about the EU lifting the prohibition on the tigers. But we told them 4 years ago to let us go to court if they were not prepared to do so to fight this. Why didn't they assign a good lawyer? This case has been ongoing for several years. We told Mahinda Samarasinha and GL Pires to let us go as the opposition if they were not prepared to do it. The truth has been revealed now, and I thank Sirasa for giving me this opportunity.
You can follow Newsfirst's comprehensive coverage of this story using the hashtag GenevaGate. Follow us on Twitter at Newsfirst_EN. Still in local news, UNP Assistant Leader MP Ravi Kananayaka stated on the Satana program telecast on our sister channel Sirasa TV last night that the government is attempting to create an unwarranted fear regarding the LTTE.
This government always works towards extremism. At this moment, they are pasting posters on this tiger and that tiger. Who are these tigers? Where is Karunamman today? Where is Pillayan? Where is KP? They say the tigers are in Europe, But where are they in reality?
මේ ආණ්ඩුව අද ජනතාවගේ මූණ බලාගෙන කනට පාරක් ගහනවා.
Why are they trying to bring back the tigers? With whom are the tigers? KP is in the palace. Karuna Amman is a minister. Pilen was with the former chief minister Sarath Ekanayaka. Look at PP Jayasundara's report. What Tamara Kunanayagam said in an interview with Sirasa tells us where the tigers are. By promoting extremism through the LTTE, they are trying to take this dictatorship forward. We are trying to put a stop to this.
Mahinda Rajapaksa யாழ்ப்பாணத்துக்கு போறாரு.
The president, while in Jaffna, stated that the Tamil National Alliance has already given affidavits. When the situation is such, the president added his views to the opposition's view on the presidency while making statements to the effect that former LTTE members who are now living in foreign countries have not given up on the idea of an Elam state. He indicated that the Tamil Elam idea has not been given up. This statement was made at the cultural capital of the Tamils, Kilinochchi. The statement that stressed on giving up the idea of Elam was not directed at people in Jaffna, but to the Sinhalese in the south.
The Jatika Hela Urumia says they will put forward a common candidate if President Mahinda Rajapaksa does not accept the party's proposals. This statement was made at the GHU convention held today.
The 11th annual convention of the Jatika Hela Urumia was held at the National Youth Services Centre in Maharagama today. Party approval was granted for the continuation of Venerable Omalpe Sobita Thera, Venerable Athurali Ratana Thera and Minister Partli Champeka Ranawaka in the positions of party leader, party chairman and general secretary respectively. The JHU also presented a set of proposals at this event targeting the presidential election. The proposals note that the cabinet should be limited to a minimum of 20 members and a maximum of 25 members selected in a scientific procedure. The number of deputy ministers would be limited to 35. The JHU proposes that the position of president be accountable to parliament and the judiciary. The JHU also proposes that provisions that harm territorial integrity, including the devolution of police and land powers, be removed from the constitution. The party also proposes that persons who are knowledgeable on the subject be appointed as secretaries to the respective ministers. The party further proposes that non-career diplomats should not make up more than 35% of the foreign service. We are truly ashamed about being unable to bring victory to the Sinhalese people since 2010. This two-thirds majority has been rusting away for 5 years. The two-thirds majority the government won in 2010 is on the cusp of being finished, but there isn't a single victory that the people have won through this. Our primary effort is to get the president to amend this before the next presidential election. We are not prepared to bring Ranil Wickremesinghe into power. He is not our alternative. We have other alternatives. If these proposals are not accepted, then we can join with the other political parties and put forward a common candidate, a third candidate. There once was a man who was gazing at the stars in the sky. He fell into a great ditch, and a bystander told him to keep his attention on those on this earth before he gazes at the stars in the sky. That is all I have to say to the present government. A ruler is not a person who brings everything under him. A ruler is a person who delegates responsibilities to other people and manages them. When J.R. Jayawardena was president, we did not think that he would give up any power, but even he delegated key ministers. There isn't a single powerful minister in this government. We cannot influence this government in any way. It has become a dictatorship which runs according to the wishes of 2 or 3 individuals. Their only aim is to make money.
Despite the makeshift stage which was erected by students at the Sabaragama University to stage a satyagraha being taken down by officials of the Balangata police with the use of a court order yesterday, the students commenced another satyagraha today. However, the difference of this satyagraha to the one staged earlier is a support rendered to the satyagraha by area residents.
The Sabaragama University students recommenced their satyagraha today on the Balangura-Colombo main road at the Pambahina junction. Locals and traders in the area pledged their support to the satyagraha campaign. According to our correspondent, the locals and traders were seen engaged in the satyagraha even as at this evening. Thereafter, officials of the Balangoda and nearby police stations, accompanied by riot police, arrived at the Pambahina junction to put a stop to the satyagraha. The DIG in Ratnapura also arrived at the location and ordered that the students put a stop to the satyagraha.
Various opposition parties are voicing their objections, claiming that President Mahinda Rajapaksa cannot contest for a third term in office. However, their silence on the opposition leader, who has lost 28 elections in 18 years, has become a major topic of conversation in political circles.
How did the leader protect his position while being defeated continuously? Suppressing the National Executive Committee, conferring limitless power on the working committee and bringing it under him by appointing his friends to a majority of positions, creating new positions as per his whim in violation of the party constitution and conferring these on his loyalists, following a divide and rule policy with regard to the second tier of the party. Why is the opposition leader silent with regard to some actions of the government? Did the leader stand against the impeachment of the former Chief Justice? The leader remained silent on the attack on former High Commissioner Dr. Chris Nonis. The leader remained silent regarding the revelations made by Tamara Kunanayakam, the former permanent representative to the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva. What can be understood from this? Has the leader of the UNP, who has lost 28 elections in 18 years, carried out the duties of opposition leader? Think.
This government is of the view that the opposition is retreating. I would like to state that the UNP is ready. We are ready to give political leadership to bring together all the forces in order to bring down Mahinda Rajapaksa from his chair. I don't think Mahinda Rajapaksa has an ethical right to contest for a third term. In our village there is a saying that if you go for more than 2 servings of a plate of rice, you are greedy. So they are contesting for more than 2 terms out of greed. This is the truth.
True UNP supporters are puzzled as to why the 28 election defeats are not spoken of as much as the ability to contest for a third term as president.
The number of individuals affected by floods has increased to 5,000. The Disaster Management Centre says that the Kalutara, Gaul, Matara and Kurunegala districts have been worst affected. The National Building Research Organisation requests people living in hilly areas to exercise caution as a result of the prevailing rainy weather. Areas including Mulatiana, Akurasa, Athuraliya, Valapitiya in the Matara district remained inundated as of this afternoon. 3,067 individuals from 616 families have been affected in the above-mentioned areas. The DMC of the Matara district states that 4 houses have been destroyed and 18 houses have been damaged. Meanwhile, vehicular movement along the Akurasa-Kamburupitiya, Akurasa-Kadduwa, Akurasa-Gudupitiya roads have come to a standstill as these roads remain inundated. The movement of heavy vehicles on the Akurasa-Matara main road was stopped temporarily when an earth embankment collapsed, blocking the road at the Amalagoda junction. Floods continue to affect Panaduwa, Bopagama, Athuraliya, Kadduwa and Ritivala. The water levels in the area have not receded after the area was flooded owing to the Pul Atumodara river overflowing.
We will look into the reason behind the floods. We will make immediate financial allocations for temporary solutions. Then as the government, we will interfere and provide permanent solutions. We have made the necessary financial allocations for this.
Water levels were seen receding in the Gaul town this afternoon after the area was inundated yesterday. The District Secretary of Gaul states that 750 families have been affected by the adverse weather. Meanwhile, the DMC states that people living around the Ginganga should remain vigilant as the water level of the river rising. The Yakalamulla and Nimaduwa areas were inundated owing to the Polatumodara river overflowing. Main roads and by roads were still underwater as of this afternoon. The DMC notes that 250 families in Yakalamulla and 450 families in Kadavashatara have been affected. About 50 houses have been flooded in the Vaskadua area in Kalutara due to the prevailing rainy weather. 4 spill gates of the new Daduroi reservoir have been opened by up to 4 feet as the reservoir reached 70% capacity. The irrigation department requests the public living in lowlands to remain vigilant as the Kalu River, Ginganga and the Nilwala River have risen. The Ceylon Electricity Board says that the water levels of reservoirs in the hydropower generation system are at 61% of their capacity. Meanwhile, the Met Department notes that showers or thunder showers will occur over most parts of the island, particularly during the afternoon and night. Some areas are likely to receive rainfall in excess of 100 millimeters.
Don't show them everything. We have to keep some tricks up our sleeves. Well, this was the advice Plantation Industries Minister Mahinda Samarisinghe had to give to the attendees of the 23rd Annual General Meeting of the Tea Factory Owners Association.
Streamlining the supply chain and
Speaking at the event, the minister congratulated the members of the Tea Factory Owners Association on the good performance of the tea industry and encouraged them to explore new markets. He, however, warned against the complete disclosure of information related to the industry.
At the moment, Sri Lanka is the market leader to China. We export 22% of China's black tea imports. Sri Lanka is still the market leader despite paying 7.5% duty. You made contact with a trade delegation from China, but please don't show them everything. You know, I don't mind being quoted on this, doesn't matter. China is our friend, but we have to keep some tricks up our sleeves. We have seen what has happened in the past. People who were buying tea from us learned the trade from us, and today they are even lobbying to ensure that packeted teas don't come into their country.
One person was killed and 30 others injured in accidents that took place in 4 locations across the island within the past 24 hours.
A bus toppled into a canal after it veered off the road in close proximity to the Dammula bridge in Ahaligoda this morning. 29 people were injured in the incident. Our correspondent stated that the injured are receiving treatment at the Kiriporwa Community Hospital and the Ahaligoda Hospital. A lorry and a motorcycle collided on Freeman Mawada in Anuradhapura, killing the motorcyclist. The pillion rider was also injured. Our correspondent stated that the lorry driver, who was also injured in the incident, is currently receiving treatment. A milk bowser travelling from Mirigamu to Warakapola had veered off the road and crashed into a house. Our correspondent said that the residents of the house did not let the bowser be towed out of the house until a compensation was made. Meanwhile, 2 individuals were injured when a 3-wheeler toppled into a canal in the Pahala Kondadeni area in Katogastota.
Trade unions charged that the monopoly of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation is crumbling due to the renovation of the Sapagaskanda oil refinery being handed over to foreign companies.
අපේ පිරිපහදු පාලනාධිකාරියට සංස්ථා පාලනාධිකාරියට ඒ වගේම රජයට අමාත්‍යාංශයට මේ සම්බන්ධව පැමිණිලි කරලා තියෙනවා.
We made complaints regarding this matter in writing with the administrative authorities at the refinery and the corporation as well as the ministry and government. We constantly brought this issue up during discussions. What has happened here is that this refinery, which was established in 1969, should have been renovated in the 1980s because it begins to show major malfunctions. Now this period for renovation is far overdue. So now this refinery needs immediate renovation. This was something that was brought up in 1984 as well. However, it was not done in the 90s nor in the 2000s. We waited until 2010 and now here we are in 2014 and nothing has been done as yet. This government, which has been in power for so long, keeps looking past this major issue. Do not attempt to break the CPC's authority on petroleum in this country and enact laws which bind our people to the needs of all consumers in other countries.
වෙනත් රටකට තෙල් පාරිභෝගික අවශ්‍යතාවයේ මත රටේ ජනතාව බැඳ දාන්නවදාල නීති සම්පාදනය කරන්න එපා.
මාධ්‍යවල පළ වුණා ඇමරිකාවේ වෙන්ටෙක් කියන ආයතනයට ඒක ලෝකයේ විශේෂඥ තෙල් පිරිපහදු කම්පැනියා ඒ ආයතනයට මේ තෙල් පිරිපහදුවේ කොන්ත්‍රාත්තුව ලබා දෙන්න යනවා.
It was published in the media that this contract is to be handed over to a company specialized in oil refining called Ventec in the US. This company was selected out of 20 companies, and that list was shortlisted to 5. They are being handed this contract on the basis that they can complete the task in 14 to 24 months and can function to the capacity of 100,000 barrels at 40% of the cost. So this will be by far the biggest contract that Sri Lanka has given to a company. This amounts to $1.5 billion. It was published in the media yesterday that the conditions of this contract were agreed to by the CPC. However, after this was published, there are various other contradictory statements that are being issued, saying that this is not the case and that the contract is to be given to a Chinese company. Now we know what happened to Nororchole after it was given to a Chinese company, and we know that the first phase of the Nororchole plant is already being overlooked. Even phase 2 is facing problems. Even the third has an issue with the condenser. Come to think of it, this is becoming a long-standing headache. We have gotten to know that we will be spending $2.2 billion more than the American company if the Chinese company takes over. So on behalf of the country, it will be very much more beneficial if the renovation is handed over to a company that is globally recognized for oil refining.
ලෝකෙ පිළිගත්ත පිරිපහදු ආයතනයකට ලබා දුන්නොත් මේ රටට ඒකේ වාසියක් තියේ කියලා.
Taking a look at sports news now. Sportsmen and sportswomen are awarded the opportunity to obtain applications for the Sports First Mobitel Platinum Awards from the Platinum Awards Motorcade. The Platinum Awards Motorcade, which reached Bandaravela today, is due to head towards Badulla tomorrow.
The Sports First Mobitel Platinum Awards is Sri Lanka's first award ceremony that recognizes sportsmen and women from across the board for their talents and achievements in the national and international arenas. The Platinum Awards promotional vehicular parade arrived in Bandaravela today. The promotional campaign commenced after an award was presented to athlete Gayan Lasantha from the Hiloya Sri Sumangala College in Bandaravela. A musical show was also worked off afterwards. You too will be able to obtain your application form for the Platinum Awards when the convoy reaches your city. For more information on the Platinum Awards, call 0710 420 420.
Sri Lanka won silver and bronze in the men's long jump event and bronze in the women's 200-meter event at the Asian Para Games that are underway in South Korea. Prasanna Jayalat and Dumira Maduranga won 2 medals in the T42 and T44 long jump events today. The T42 and T44 events are for disabled athletes who are amputees or those who with partially paralysis in one of their legs. Prasanna Jayalat won the silver medal while Dumira Maduranga won the bronze. Andy Murray and David Ferrer will have the chance to make a giant stride towards the season-ending World Tour finals today after winning their respective semi-finals at the Vienna Open. With Murray and Ferrer chasing the last qualifying spot currently occupied by Milos Raonic, winning the 250 ranking points on offer in Australia was an imperative this week. Andy Murray cruised past Viktor Troicki in straight sets in the afternoon session. Murray beat Troicki 6-4, 6-3. Meanwhile, Federer's disadvantage at playing in the evening was further exacerbated when he took 3 sets to beat Philip Kohlschreiber. Ferrer won 6-3, 2-6, 7-6 and saved 8 break points in the match, although he did lose serve on 3 occasions. The top 2 seeds will meet in the final today. Up next is a look at the bitter truth.
A matter that has been constantly highlighted on the bitter truth is that Sri Lanka cricket authorities, who always bow to the wishes of the Indian cricket mafia, place money before country when making decisions. This was made clear last Friday when officials of Sri Lanka cricket agreed to dance to the tune of Indian cricket by taking a detour from initial preparations for the 2015 World Cup. SLC agreed to fill the void of the India-West Indies tour when West Indies decided to abandon the remainder of the series due to a row between the players and the West Indies Cricket Board. Former team captain Kumar Sangakkara, however, is not happy about this out-of-the-blue ODI series. In a Twitter message, Sangakkara questions if this is a plan. Our 6 weeks of pure fitness work ends abruptly. Have a week to do a month's requirement of skill work before India. Planning ahead, anyone? Sri Lanka head coach Marwan Atapattu also claims that an India tour was not in the program prior to the World Cup. Manager of SLC, Michael De Zoysa, said that they had to reschedule World Cup training to next week because of the series against India. The manager said further that this series would not affect the World Cup and that basic skills like batting and catching the ball are not something that has to be taught to these players from scratch. However, Dr. Prasanna Pereira at the University of Peradeniya does not agree with these statements. Throughout the series, players as well as the administrative staff could gain certain economic benefits, but we should not limit this just to a short-lived victory or just a series. Neither should we forget our actual target in the future. Players are right now focusing mainly on one thing and one thing only, the World Cup. So India is our main rival at the World Cup. So this series could also be considered as practice matches. Our strategy will be revealed to them. This will severely affect our chances at the World Cup. So what is clear here is that the decision makers have thought merely of short-term economic benefits and other objectives. They are not thinking long-term and about the country. That is what I have to say. SLC ex-co member Shami Silva had noted prior to this that certain higher-ups at SLC are working to bring Sri Lanka cricket to its knees before India. He made this statement in a letter to the President on the 23rd of January 2014 when he clarified his stance on the ICC revamp plans. Why has SLC decided to forego its planning ahead of the 2015 Cricket World Cup and tour India at short notice? When will SLC place country before money when making decisions? Open for debate.
The miracle of life never ceases to amaze us. A female bottlenose dolphin at SeaWorld in San Diego, California, gave birth to her second calf, making it the 80th successful dolphin birth at the park. Now we leave you tonight with these compelling images. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.